Yo, 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 what is going on, COD Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are bringing it back for the morning, afternoon, whatever time it is, your time, update on how things are going in SS1-2. Now, let me start off by, and I'm going to try to do my best to remember this, because I know I usually say it throughout the video, but let me give you the lay of the land on who's going up against who, right? So, for all intents and purposes, basically all the top alliances are fighting along these two level 1 passes here that are adjacent or at the middle between Nivola and Sophrostia. You have on one side, which is the Sophrostia-Caltia side, that's TA, TD, GRZ, TMS, UEH, TM for those. Then on the other side, which is basically from Nivola all the way to Burning Lands, if that's right? So the other 5 Zone 1 regions, you have BDL, SL, GOD, IDL, SS1, you have SS18, NT45, right? For all intents and purposes. Those are kind of the two sides that we're seeing faced, and they've just been going back and forth on the passes. One side owns, or the northeastern side of the Union, or their Union, owns this northwestern pass here. And then the southwestern group owns the southeastern pass, right? Or let's just say this group owns this pass, and the group up here owns this northern pass, to keep it simple. We really have not seen anyone yet truly break through into their opponent's side, with the exception of early on, within, I want to say, about the first 24 to 36 hours, we did see a decent push coming up from TM and GRZ, who GRZ, I believe, had 1 flag, and then TM had about 5 or 6 flags going up this way northeast as they were going towards the Bear Behemoth. And then obviously once GOD and IDL were able to come in and assist, that ended up getting pushed back to the gate. However, there is something interesting right now that is and has been developing. What, if you haven't already noticed on the map, BDL had built a second fort here, or basically their alliance fort to connect this territory. And now they swapped it out where they then placed a center fortress up here on the northwestern pass. This is for the pass that they own. And if we zoom in here, you can see that they've already got the CF down, and they have an alliance, they have a flag down as well. And really what they've been doing, and this is kind of smart to me for what I've been noticing, is that, and I don't know if this is how the other side is set up, I'll have to take a look, but they basically position themselves here on the northwestern side. Now, they could build a flag. I do think it would be a good idea if they built another flag up here just so they could move a few more players. Maybe even building a flag here. Oh, wow, they are. Okay, look, so they're kind of already on it. Yeah, so I'd build a flag here. I'd probably build another flag here. Maybe even moving SL, right? I would even argue SL. I don't know if this is a CF or not. It is. So I would maybe argue SL building their core fortress up here and then allowing for BDL to expand just so they have more fluid territory. The other way of doing it is whoever has this for SS1-1, if they just go in a straight line, that would maybe be another idea. So they just go through the bridge. And again, that's the thing you have to really consider is how are you flagging? Because if I'm looking at the flagging territory right here, where you're maximizing the optimal square space to get as many players in as possible, this just isn't the most efficient, right? One of the ways you would do it is either go in a straight line like this. That opens up a little more territory for BDL, and they can build out a little bit more over here towards the Giant. And if you look at the space for GOD, well, GOD doesn't really even have full flag space, right? I'd love for this to kind of be removed, have them remove this flag here for SS1-1, maybe even this one, and then allow for God to build out like this, or even just along this area. Because if you look at this area here that's empty, that could be space for their players to fill in. This ends up allowing for you to have faster reaction times, faster refresh times, and reload times for your marches. And also reduces the delay in which you can get back into the fight, which is really just another way of saying that. Again, I think IDL is building ideally here. I mean, they're kind of getting a little gypped, so to speak, too, as on territory. So this is just something they need to figure out, right? I think God really should fill in here on this top half, let IDL fill in on this bottom half of the river, and then SS1-1 essentially just goes north, and then you open up this left lane for BDL. That would really be how you'd want to position this, so that way it makes it easier to fit a lot more players in. But however, I digress. What I was trying to get to is the structures here for the barricades. I've been noticing that the BDL players have been removing some of the structures from the other alliances, right? Like SS1 have some here. And basically what it seems like they're doing is opening up a pathway so that way their players can kind of come in from, if you're facing the pass, it would be the right flank. But the way we're viewing it is really the left flank, right? So they're kind of coming in here through the left flank, and they're probably going to build their barricades here so they can go through without having to take on the slow effect from their allies just because of the fact that the union system has been removed. So these flags here, though, SS11 are probably going to keep these. And then who knows, I don't know if God or anyone else has really been building their own. So they have, right? So you can kind of see the trend here. They have some of their own barricades, and that kind of makes sense. Now, the interesting part here when we talk about this level 1 pass is, and I'm imagining we're going to see some of this, they do not have a lot of players here right now. If you think about that from the open field. BDL has a lot more. I'm sure God, I mean, again, this is one of those things where you should really consider doing an organized, coordinated push where you do pass swaps. So, again, you front load with your players, so God gets as many as they can online, SS11 gets as many as they can online, and then whoever has the most online at that time should be the first ones to go through. Should be the first ones to then capture the pass, right? SS11 should be the first ones to go through, but how they should do it is they should time it out where they're going through right before the pass ends up getting recaptured by BDL or another alliance, so that way they time it out so there's not a big delay, because you don't want to send all of your players through unless you feel like you have enough, right? Then that may be different. However, if let's say they only have 20 marches or something, you basically would wait for one of the other alliances to hit the pass, unless they're just going to take it immediately. It depends on what the delay time is from taking the pass with a full rally or however much of a rally they would need. And then from there, or if maybe SS11 just takes out all their troops before the pass hits or before the rally hits, that could be something as well. And once you know what that timing is, you send your troops through, and then the alliance that captures would then send their troops through, and then you get another one, right? So you kind of get back-to-back rally timing. So if BDL goes first, God would already have a rally lined up, so they're rallying the pass the moment after it's taken, and then they push their troops through. This is something that they really should be taking advantage of, and I just want to say I really love this move here from this union, who decided to then send BDL up here so they can start pushing through this level 1 pass and start really making a dent. Because remember, you don't have to, remember the important thing we talk about with keeps. You don't have to fight around the keep area, right? You can fight past the keep area. The important part is that you're fighting in an area that's not within range of the keep. And then from there, you can really just start removing barricades once you have the open field won. And really, that's what I would recommend, right, is you work on removing the barricades while you're removing flags, and you go to areas that don't really have a lot of presence, right? For example, with the keeps, there's no keeps right here. I don't see any keeps over here in this area, so really pushing middle or going over here to the right side for them would be a little more ideal. On the flip side, right, if we look at the other pass, TA has actually been keeping up appearances pretty well. Oh gosh, where's that one? I just had to go farther down. So as far as they've been keeping quite a bit of pressure here, and they don't necessarily have an overabundance of players here right now, but they do and have been keeping constant pressure. They also have a lot of upgraded looks. I mean, you got a level 6 barricade there. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Just to see how that looks. I love the fact that you can keep upgrading them right past like the initial level. I don't know. It's just kind of a cool thing for me. Again, however, TA really hasn't been doing any further pushes, right? I want to say that, and obviously because of the fact that BDL's pushing from the top, I think SS18 and NT45 and then the remaining BDL players have been doing a good job thus far of holding TA at bay to this area. And I think when you consider which side is going to be able to push the other more, it really tends to me, or seems to me, that the case is going to be on the northern pass. This is really where that battle is going to put more pressure on TA, because I just think that this pass has a higher chance of BDL, God, and then IDL and SS1-1 pushing through here with these 4 alliances and making more headway versus the amount of headway that TA could make pushing NT45, SS18, and then, you know, parts of BDL, just because they really haven't made a, what I would argue, kind of this indistinguishable push that has really said, yeah, we're making some waves here. Yes, they've been able to get out and place barricades, but that's different than actually being able to push, destroy your enemy's barricades and start hitting their flags. That really hasn't been the thing that they've done. And so it will be interesting to see if the pressure that is applied to the northern level 1 pass is then alleviating some of the TA pressure from their pass, and they end up sending marches up north, which would then allow for SS18, NT45, and some of the other BDL players to start removing barricades from it and maybe even start doing some simultaneous rallies. So again, the opportunity on both sides, right? I think, again, I don't know where TA stands. It could just be a low peak time right now for them, but that would be the next step for them, is really trying to start making some headway, pushing out, removing more of the barricades, trying to get some flags removed as well, and just kind of pushing in one direction. So that way you can at least, what it seems like, either delay or hope that TM might be able to do a pass retake. Again, I'm assuming that because SS11 is in here right now, I don't know who's actually holding the pass, if it's Burning or someone else. So we'll have to see how that goes. Oh, wow. Actually, it looks like SS11 is pushing out a little bit. Our boy Classic Joe. Wow, BDL is actually moving right now into position. So I'm curious if Duz is going to be online and he's going to be the one who's doing the rally here, or if another is. But yeah, man, I mean, this is good stuff. Like I said, there's not a lot of units here. This is actually a great opportunity that they should take advantage of to push through and see how much of a headway, see how much pressure they can apply, and potentially how much barricade removal, and then their own barricades being set up, and maybe even trying to demolish some flags, right? To, again, apply some pressure there and maybe force TA away from the gate, which is, again, this is why it's important to, you have to be able, this is, again, like we've talked about before with CoD, there's going to be quite a bit of multitasking, especially when you have multiple alliances that are kind of under the same belt, or I should say under the same union, if you will, right? Being able to have an idea on how you are coordinating with others and doing that in real time and simultaneously so you can apply pressure on multiple fronts. That's the kind of next level, I think, potential that CoD has over other kingdom builders, not only because of the range, like we talk about often, you know, because of the on-field support items, being able to have timed out artifacts that you can apply for active field usage, but being able in this situation, obviously without a system, coordinating between alliances really isn't anything new. But because of the way that they're kind of fighting on these passes, and obviously with the range play, I think that it just provides and really, I don't know how I say provide, but presents a very unique approach and visual that we get within CoD that we just don't necessarily get within other games. At least at the moment, I should say, and more specifically within the genre. So yeah, man, this is cool. Oh, I wonder, ooh, is Duz doing it? Duz is coming in. Interesting. Oh, wow, dude, they already capped it. This is cool. Oh, my God. We might actually see something happening here. So this is interesting what we just witnessed, right? I'm assuming they didn't have anyone in the pass. Duz probably just attacked it, and I can't... Oh, they must have. So it must have been Duz going in there to attack it, and it immediately took. Someone will have to correct me on that if I saw that wrong. But now, dude, BDL is going through. Man. Dude, they need to get in on this. I love how they're building more. They got some units that are there. They're sending a nice little force through. And I'm curious to see what direction are they going to go here, right? Are they going to avoid the keeps? Are they going to try and zero the keeps? Are they going to push out going straight down or to the right? Are they going to get all their players through? And then GOD will end up taking the pass. So I'm really curious on how that's going to play out, right? Are they going to try and get as many people as they can through and then swap it? So this will be interesting. I wonder if that's going to happen right now. So it looks like God is attacking it. Or something. Ooh, it looks like a misclick possibly. Okay. So here we go, dude. They're crushing. I mean, again, dude, there's no one really here that can fight them. in this situation. The rest of BDL ends up coming through. SS1 swapped. Now it looks like they're going to end up coming back through. This is pretty cool. So interesting. So again, right, remember, here's the range here. Doesn't look like it's firing yet. I like this. So they're cognizant of the range. I like, dude, look at Yessa, my man, just filtering that side perimeter there on the edge. That is awesome. So again, this is interesting. TM falls back to try and fight from the keep. And again, it's important to try and avoid that. I like how they're just going around and they're really paying attention to this to flank and either just hit other units or... Again, right, and that's the thing. Are they putting... Wow, so they are. So they're actually putting pressure over here on the side. They're basically going for farmers. Not a bad idea when you think about it, right? Just, excuse me, go deep into the territory as one tactic. Hit a bunch of farmers. And then from there, go ahead and just start crushing towers or defeating barricades. It is going to be interesting to see what they do here. Are they just going to go all in on the keep? Are they going to apply pressure on the keep? Or are they just trying to stand... I like how they're being a little cognizant here of staying at max range. And it almost looks like they're trying to go around so they can hit the units that are within the circle at max range. Oh, dude, here we go. So I wonder if they're just going to YOLO the keep now and basically try and kill a bunch of these units while leading with others. So... Oh, wow. So they're destroying the keep, but they're not actually attacking the keep. So, interesting. That's something, and I don't know how fast they're going to be able to kill the keep, because you also have to think about the keep is putting damage. Well, we'll see how this plays out. I don't know if this is the best idea. I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's going to be a little counterattack damage that's going towards it. But we're going to see. Dude, more units are coming in. This is a really great push right now from them. But this is the important part. If you're going to push, you have to do it in a coordinated way, right? You have to do it in groups, so that way you're not getting taken advantage of, right? That means that you're having groups of like 5 or 10 that are moving together, so that way, you know, you're able to destroy or basically kill off any of the individual units, like a situation down here. I'd love for BDL to have more people here rather than just a few, because you're just not fighting in an advantageous kind of numbers ratio skirmish. Same here as well. You got Bakunawa who's going down. Obviously not seeing a lot. Interesting. He's just... Oh, cool. So he's actually just, like, wrecking the keep right now. But again... Oh, dude, so I like this. So, again, they're destroying the keep. Wow. I mean, if they get... This is my thing. If they get enough people on the keep, they could probably... I mean, if they had double what they had, they could probably kill this thing in 30 minutes. And then, you know, maybe the keep wouldn't get that much action. So again, I don't know. It just depends. If they had more people here, I would say, yeah, keep destroying the keep. However, really how I view this, in my opinion, is hold the presence here and then have people that just start removing these, right? Typically, you want to have your, I don't want to say farmers, but your not best legions that are going through, and they're just the ones, like you could send a gathering unit here to do it, right? You really think about being as efficient as you can, because not everyone's going to have 5 legions that are just the best comps possible. So, you know, if you only have 2, 3, or 4 legions that you can really run ideal comps in, do that, right, for PvP. And then the other ones, you just run units that can destroy barricades and go destroy flags. So you're prioritizing your PvP units to be as efficient as possible. And that's my thing here. On the keep, unless there's a way where you can, and again, I don't believe you can rally these from what I currently understand, because I don't believe there's just been an update that has reflected that. In addition, I honestly would probably just save the keep for last, right? Unless you absolutely need to address a keep, you need to address it with a lot of numbers, right? At least from kind of what it looks like we're seeing. Or what you do is you run like full counterattack damage comps. That to me seems like the play to do. If you're going to attack a keep, you should be having everyone attacking it who's running like massive high counterattack damage legions, and then you just let those people attack it. Or basically inflict the damage that way. In this situation, I'd love to actually see BDL focusing on attacking, like we said, attacking those open field units, attacking flags. This to me is a little bit far. Again, I'm not saying I'm against this, but that's a little bit far for me to have to run, right? I think fighting after, and I'm going to have to see here where the next flag is, right? I mean, this is my thing. you could arguably even go for the core fortress, right? If you have enough activity online, and really this is the thing. Sometimes it's really just a matter of baiting the activity out, right? You know that TM players are going to try and fight. So really what you could argue doing is you go through and you just basically play out we're going through and we're just going to bait the players out, and then you're just fighting with constant numbers advantages. You're just killing a bunch of their troops, right? And you can do that while you're destroying barricades and destroying flags that are close to you, right? This is the thing as well, is that obviously you're going to have to wait because of the fact that, if you're pass swapping, then it's going to make it difficult, I believe, and I'm sure they might fix this eventually, but you'd already have to be destroying the flag before the pass swap occurs for you to keep destroying the flag. Otherwise, you won't be able to. So, that's kind of the challenge inherent. Now, I don't believe you need to control the pass in order to remove an on-field barricade, because clearly we can see them doing that right now without. So that's just something to consider, right? Is I would say focus on destroying the barricades, and then you're prioritizing attacking any of the TM units that come out in the open field, but you have to be a little bit more coordinated, sticking around in close proximity to one another, so you can make sure that you're doing that. I also probably wouldn't really fight here on this side, just because of the fact that the keep is here. It's giving you a very thin line or route that you can run through. I personally think it's better to basically fight this or this because there's no keeps, and then you just focus on destroying the barricades. And that, to me, I think would be a little bit better of an overall play for them to do, just so that way it benefits their amount of players that are online and marches. Because again, if you have 20 people attacking one player, you're going to melt that player fast, which means you're lowering the overall amount of damage they're able to do. And that's really where the kind of next level of PvP I'd love to see get to, right? If you're just going through with your own march, 4 or 5 marches, you're not going to essentially kill a unit as fast as you could, which means you're just still going to end up taking more damage than you might need to, especially if you're in a situation like they are now where you have the numbers to get it done, right? Or at least to last and survive as long as possible. So, again, like I said, I don't know if that was the best play. I mean, even in this situation, right, some of these players just kind of getting stuck out where it's not really needed. Same here with this guy for BDL, SCL, any of the BDL players that are still hanging out here. This just isn't the right move to do. You want to stay grouped and fighting as a unit, and then slowly push here and there, right? Because they're going to respond. And really where your benefit is going to be is in removing the barricades and establishing your own territory, right? And then just basically fighting and holding them off. So it's one of those things where you're probably going to have to be online for a while. It's not really going to be a one-and-done thing. Anyways, with that in mind, I think we're going to go ahead and end it here. This has been great. Again, I wish I could keep recording. I love watching any and all of the PvP battles. And I think there's some good opportunities and some good takeaways here that they can go from. I'm sure we'll probably see another big coordinated push here in a bit. Obviously, as it seems, some of the TM players are responding. So who knows how long it'll be that they'll end up holding this. So we will keep you as up to date as we can. And of course, I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you guys think about what I just talked about? What some of the opportunities are? Do you think that this pass will end up having them push through more? Or do you think the TA, TM, TMS side, TD side will end up pushing through their level 1 pass and making more headway than this Northwestern level 1 pass? Let me know in the comments down below. That is going to be it for us. As always, until next time, I will catch you later.